Now it's working. So now you can sign in.
Because I have to.
Let me sign in. Okay, now you can sign in. Now it's working.
Okay.
But I don't see you.
No, because I'm not in early. Hold on. I'll hang up now from the phone. Okay.
Okay, now I don't know what was going on.
Might as
Walter,
well.
Walter, you can sign in now. You can sign in. Okay, whatever.
59, right?
59. Yesh uno shemen levona. Some menachos require oil and spice. Some require shemen v'lo levona. Some require oil but no spice. Some require levona v'lo shemen. Some menachos get spice but no oil. And some get lo levona v'lo shemen, neither. Elu to uno shemen levona. The following menachos get both oil and spice. Minchas hasoiles, flour mincha. Ve'hamachvas, where it's fried. V'marcheshes, it's deep fried. V'chalois, it's oven baked. V'arkikin, wafers. Minchas kohanim, the mincha that a Kohen, minchas Kohen Mashiach, the Kohen Gadol would offer a mincha every day. Minchas Ovid Kochavim, a non-Jew could send a mincha. Minchas Nashim, a woman could send a mincha. Minchas Oimer. All of these menachos needed oil and spice. Minchas Nesachim, the wine libations and flour that came along with korbanos, to una shem and vein tuna levona. They get oil but no spice. Lechem aponim, ton levona vein ton shemen. The lechem aponim only has spice, no oil. Shtei alechem and minchas chote and minchas knos. The shtei alechem brought on Shavuos, the sinner's mincha, and the sota mincha ain't to unin lo shemen v'lo levona. They don't get either oil or spice. Amar Papa kol hecha desnan. Anytime that we list menachos eser tanah, we learn 10. There's a list of 10. Lafukim Rab Shimon, who adds an 11. Amar mechza chalus mechza rakikin yavi. If you donate a mincha that's half baked, half wafers, you can bring it. Kamash falan, delog. That no, you got to bring it either completely made from oven baked or from wafers. Torabon. V'nasata le'ar shemen. You shall place on the omer oil. And aleha v'lo alechem aponim shemen. To teach us that the lechem aponim doesn't get oil. Sheyachol v'aloi dinu. I might have thought it's a kavachomer. Sheyachol v'aloi dinu. Uma minchas nesachim she'netuna levona. The wine libations mincha does not get spice, yet it gets to una shemen. Lechem aponim she'teuna levona eno din sheton shemen. The lechem aponim that gets spice, it certainly should get shemen. Talmud Omer aleha shemen, on the minchas oimer oil v'lo lechem aponim shemen. Then it says v'samta aleha levona. On the minchas oimer, you also place spice. Aleha levona v'lo minchas nesachim levona, and it excludes the wine libations mincha from getting spice. Sheyachol v'aloi dinu, I could have learned from logic. Uma lechem aponim she'neton shemen. Lechem aponim does not get oil. Yet, ton levona, you put spice. Minchas nesachim she'teunan shemen. Eno din she'teunan levona. Talmud omer aleha. On the minchas oimer. Aleha levona v'lo minchas nesachim levona. Then it says, mincha hi. L'rabois mincha shmini lelevona. That on the 8th day of the inauguration of the Mishkan, which was Rosh Chodesh Nisan, you did bring levona to that mincha. And when it says minchas hi, lahotzi shtei lechem, shlo yitanu lo shemen v'lo levona. That shtei lechem doesn't get either. Amar, aleh shemen v'lo lechem aponim shemen. So the v'nasat aleh shemen, the pasuk that's written by the minchas oimer, comes to exclude shemen from lechem aponim. Maybe ema aleh shemen v'lo minchas kohanim shemen. Maybe it rejects using shemen for minchas kohanim. So the Gemara says, "Mistaber minchas kohanim havalei l'ripui." It makes more logical sense to include the minchas kohanim for oil. Shekain, the omer and the minchas kohanim are similar. They both require isaron. That's a certain amount of flour. Kli, it's got to be done in a kli. Chutz, that if you do any of this activity outside of the Azara, it's not good. Agash, you have to bring it close to the Mizbech, V'ishim, and there's an aspect they're all thrown on the fire, or part of it is thrown on the fire. Adarabba, lechem aponim avalei l'ribui. It makes the lechem aponim is more similar to the Omer Shekain, Tzibura. They're both korbanos tzibur. It's a choiva. It's a obligatory. Minchas kohanim would donate it. Tamei. They're done even in a state of tumah. The achil, both are eaten. The minchas kohanim is not eaten. Pigula. Pigul applies to both of them, but it doesn't apply to minchas kohanim because there's no matir. And b'shabta, both the lechem aponim and the oimer were done on Shabbos. So mistabra, we would rather be marbe the minchas kohanim because nefesh, because it talks about the individual offering it, and lechem aponim is not an individual korban. Amar alei levona v'lo minchas tesachim levona. That there's no spice on the minchas tesachim. Eim alei levona v'lo minchas kohanim levona. Maybe we should exclude spice from being placed on the minchas kohanim. Mistavra minchas kohanim havalei l'ribui. It's more logical to include the minchas kohanim into spice. Shekain. Again, what's similarity with the omer? A saron, bolul, you have to mix it. The log with an old shemen. Mugash, it's brought close to the mizbech. Biglal etzem. They are independent, while the minchas tesachim is brought as part of another korban. Adarabba minchas tesachim avalei l'ribui. I would include the minchas nesachim, shekain. They're both tzibura, chova. They're obligatory v'itmi. They're offered b'Shabbos and b'Shabbota. So mistavra that the minchas kohanim should have shemen, because nefesh it's brought by an individual and not by necessarily the tzibur. Mincha l'rabbos minchas shmini l'levona. That we included spice with the mincha that was offered on the Chanukas HaMishkan. Ve'ema lahotzi, maybe it's to exclude it from that. Hi mai, that doesn't make sense. Iyamrit b'shmul rabbo is shapir. Ele iyamrit lahotzi lamali. Shami doris lo yalfina. We wouldn't have learned anyways a temporary korban because the Chanukas HaMishkan was just temporary. We wouldn't learn that from korbanos from other places. So it's obviously to be included. Then it says who or minchas he loitzi shtei alechem shlo yitanu lo shemen v'lo levona. We don't put spice or oil on the shtei alechem. Maybe ve'emi lohotzi minchas kohanim from that din. Mistavra minchas kohanim amalei l'ribui. It makes more sense to include minchas kohanim. Shekain isaron. You need an isaron of flour. Kli, it needs a kli. Matzah has to be non-chametz. Etzem, they are individual on their own, and they're not brought in association with other korbanos. Hagasha, you have to bring them close. The ishim, and part of it goes on the fire. Adarabba, shtei alechem avalei ribui, shekain tzibur. Both the minchas oim and the shtei alechem is a korban tzibur. Choiva, they're not donative. Tomei, they're brought in a state of tuma. The achal, part of the korban is eaten. The minchas esachim is not. Pigula, there's pigul by both shtei alechem and minchas oimer. There's not by the minchas esachim because all of it's burnt. B'shabta, their doicha Shabbos, they both have a matir and they're both waived to nufa. Bahani nefishin, and there's more of that. So mistavra that we include the minchas kohanim again because of nefesh, because it's an individual korban and not a tzibur dikkur korban. V'chayav al Hashem and bifnei atzmo. You're not allowed to add oil to these korbanos that are not allowed to have oil, and you get malchus. V'chayav al levona bifnei atzmo. And if you add spice, you get a second set of malchus. Nosan alei Hashem. Besides getting malchus pasla, the korban is now invalid to be brought. But if you put levona, yilketena, you could just remove the spice. Nasan shemen al shireha. You didn't pour the oil on the whole mincha, only on the shirayim. Then eino oiver beloy sasa. You haven't violated the law. Nasan kli al kli. If you just put a kli with shemen on the mincha, lo pasla, that's not an invalidation. Ton Rabbana. Lo yasima le'ar shemen, and you shouldn't put oil. The imsam posal, it's posal. Yachal lo yitin alei levona posal. The imnosam posal, that if you put spice, it's posal. Talmud loymar ki chatas, it remains a chatas even with levona. Yachal af b'shemen, Talmud loymar he. That excludes shemen. Umara isa liv sol b'shem elachsher b'levona. Where's the logic in saying that if you add oil it's possible, but if you add levona it's good? Poisoning b'shemen she after l'lakto. Once you add the oil to the flour, that's it. You can't remove it. It's mixed with the flour. Machshani b'levona she after l'loikta. You drop a piece of spice, you could just remove it. Boy Rav Ravuna mi Rav Yochanan. Nos alel levona shchukama. What if it's very fine and you can't remove it? Mishum de'efshar l'lakta is the whole issue with levona because you can remove it. V'halo yefshar l'lakta, and this can't be removed. Oy dilma mishum de'lo mivla. Spice is not absorbed. V'hanami lo mivla. So maybe it would not passel. Toshma, it says if you add levona, you'll ketena, you remove it. So it seems that with the levona there would be possible. So Gemara says, Dilma v'chad avoid kamar. Chad lo mivla. One issue is it didn't get absorbed. V'od yil ketena, and you have a way of removing it. Toshma. Machshani b'levona she'efshar l'loikta. That if I can get rid of it, it's kosher. Implying that if I can't get rid of it because it's impossible to remove, then it's possible. So Hachanami chadav v'od ka'amar. There, it's this and another thing. So it's not dafka that. My aviyalo, what's the final psak? Amar dach b'yitzuk tanya, minchas chote, minchas knos. They're not allowed to have neither shemen or levona. Shenosan ale levona. You put spice on. Malaket is a levona kshera. You get rid of it and it's kosher. V'matsho liket levonosa. If you haven't removed it, and then chishiv aleh, and you had in mind to eat, chutz lizmano ben chutz l'mkomo pasul, right? Because it's not invalidated. But even if you did chutz lizmano ein bo kores, because the fact that the levona is on it, it's not a completely kosher korban. Now, imishiliket levonasa, if you remove the levona and then you had the machshavas pigul, mechashav chutz l'mkomo pasul ve'ein bo kores. So all minchas that you cannot remove the levona, it's possible until you remove it. So if you added a type of levona that you can't remove, then it's going to be puzzle. Why don't the Gemara says v'tehevi pach? Let it be where a pach of shemen fell on the mincha, where it becomes nidche. So why would you say pasal b'machshava? We went through an analysis that if you had a machshavas pigel, it would work. Why dichuihu? While the levona is there, it's considered nidche. On Rabbi chatas kari. Oh, it's not nidche because the Torah still called it a chatas. But Rav Omer Chanan Mitzri who deles le dechuyin. This is a das yochid who says that there's no dichui, and therefore can become nifsal b'machshavas pigel. Where do we see Chanan Mitzri? Titania. Chanan Mitzri mafilu dam bakos. You have the pair of goats on Yom Kippur. One you shecht and you receive the blood and do the zrika sadam. The other you send lazozel. Now, let's say you've already shechted the goat and the blood is in the cup and the azazel goat dies. Now, according to Chachamim, you have to bring 2 pairs of goats and start again. According to Chanan, maybe chavero shaloba agrola. You bring another goat without lots, and you pair the new goat with the blood. You see that the blood is still usable. It hasn't been nidche because he doesn't hold of nidche. So Rav Ashi Omar kol shebiyad lo v'dichui. We can say that our baraisa is not Chanan, but really the Chachamim. As if you have it in your power or your ability to remove the problem, then it's not nidche. So since he can reach in to the kli of the mincha, get rid of the lavona, it doesn't become nidche. Amravada kavas ravashi mistavra. Deman shamis ledi islay dechuyin. Who is the Tana that says that there is dichuy? Rav Yehuda. It's not. Varam Rav Yehuda nishpach adam. If, let's say you lost the blood because it got poured on the floor after you shechted the goat. Yamus hamishtalech, the goat that was supposed to send lazozel, you kill it. And you have to bring 2 pairs of goats to start again. Mesa mishtalech, if the goat died, that was going to go to lazozel died, yishapech adam. Because the problem with the one goat makes it nidcha, the other aspect. So we know it's Rabbi Yehuda who holds dichui, v'ilu hechad biyado. But if you can rescue the situation with your hands, Tanya, Rabbi Yehuda Omer, koisayim emalam midam atarubis. On Erev Pesach, they shechted so many korbanos that there was a lot of blood on the floor. Now, the blood on the floor had to be nizrak on the mizbech. So what they did is they took a cup. All the blood had been mingled there. They took a cup and they did zrika. So even though it was nidche, you could resuscitate it. The zorka zrika achas keneged yesod. So when you can resuscitate something, Rabbi Yehuda allows you. So there as well, Rabbi Yehuda would allow by the mincha, if you can get rid of the spice, you should do it. Nosan mashu shemen al gabi kazais mincha. Even a mashu of oil was put on a kazais mincha posal. My time at lo yasim sima koldu, any kind of placing. Aleha adi kishira. And aleha implies that the mincha has to have the proper shear, which is a kazais. Varmav Yitzchak bar Yosef Rav Yochanan. Nosan kazais levon al gabi mashu mincha. If you placed a kazais of spice on just a little bit of a mincha posal, my time, lo yitain ksiv adi ikin. It's got to be a real nesina, which is a kazayas. Aleha havi ribu acharibui vein ribu acharibui elamayit, to say that it even doesn't have to be a kazayas. It could be even less than a kazayas. Okay. Okay, tomorrow we'll learn at 4:00 because we move it later an hour. We used to learn at 3. Now we'll learn at 4. Okay?
Okay. Shkoyach.
Bye, everybody.